Gouda Gouda is almost upon us, gang. Kawaii Fevo here with another FGO video. And gang, there is a storm that is approaching. Some say he might even provoke black clouds in isolation. Okay, I'm gonna stop. It's time to talk about Hajime Saito, also known as Virgil from the Devil May Cry series. We're going to be going over his best allies, craft essences, and command codes, everything you need to know so you can make sure that Saito is able to hit your enemies with some truly smokin' sexy style. Hopefully, this video ends up helping you out, and if it does, be sure to go ahead, like, and subscribe. Saito comes equipped with 1 quick, 2 arts, and 2 buster cards, with a single target arts noble phantasm. His max HP and his max attack are fairly respectable, I gotta say, nothing super duper standout here. His NP per hit is fairly good, and you're gonna actually notice that the deeper we get into this video, and his star absorption is overall average, as can be expected of a saber. It's not his stats that are surprising, but let's of course go ahead and talk about the skills. Saito's first skill is Free Sword Draw rank B. This increases his arts and buster effectiveness by 10 to 20% for 3 turns, so the majority of his cards. On activation, this is also going to grant Saito 10 to 20 critical stars, leading to him doing some purely majestic critical hits. You're definitely going to want to go ahead and max this skill first, as it is what is mainly going to affect a lot of stats Saito wants pumped up. Mainly Noble Phantasm damage and Noble Phantasm gain. I'm sure you can already start to see where we're going with this. For Saito's second skill, he is blessed with Mind's Eye True rank B, giving him a turn of evade and 3 turns to increase his defense by 9 to 18%. There's not really much I can say about this skill. It is a pretty standard and pretty good survival tool Saito has at his disposal. You're going to go ahead and max this last, because the main reason we want to max this is to reduce the cooldown. We're going to focus on that damage first. And Saito's final skill is Peerless Sword rank A. This increases his attack for 3 hits by 20 to 30%, and also increases his critical strength for 3 hits by 50 to 100%. Both of these buffs will last for 3 turns, so you will definitely get an opportunity to use every single trigger on them. Be sure to go ahead and max this skill second, so you can get a nice solid attack boost and that critical damage, because you're going to be doing a lot of crits, because you're going to need them to charge that Noble Phantasm. For Saito's append skills, I can actually recommend 2 of them, the first being Extra Attack Boost. Extra Attack Boost not only increases damage off of your extra attack card, but it also increases Noble Phantasm gain. We want to push that as far as we can go, so don't feel bad about sinking Servant Coins into this append skill. Load Magical Energy is of course a good option for absolutely anybody, 10 to 20% NP at the start. Pretty dang great. And now, we get to Saito's Noble Phantasm. Mugyo Formlessness deals 900 to 1500% damage to a single enemy, and decreases their critical rate by 20% for 3 turns. That critical rate reduction, very good for challenge quests. But what really helps push this Noble Phantasm and Saito in general over the edge is the overcharge effect on this NP. This Noble Phantasm decreases the arts resistance for that single enemy by 20 to 40%, and this activates before damage is dealt. So Saito is going to be dealing immense damage with those arts cards, and if you manage to get an arts Brave Chain, there is a very high likelihood that he is going to immediately recharge his Noble Phantasm and be able to do that again. And this is exceptionally important, considering that those arts resist debuffs will stack with each other. So you'll just see Saito's damage continue to climb and climb and climb with every single arts card he's able to hit with. If you have some way to go ahead and lock his cards, maybe with a certain summer waifu, then you can see Saito deal some truly impressive Devil May Cry tier combos over multiple turns on a single enemy. They are going to regret even showing up to the fight. So who do we pair Saito with in order to max his effectiveness? Well, he is an arts-focused servant, so we need to give him all of the arts support that we can. When it comes to NA, of course, Castoria is going to be the absolute best option. If you are preparing in the future for JP, also consider Lady Avalon. She is going to be absolutely excellent support for Saito, and I actually probably got to go and see if there's some other videos of people using Lady Avalon with Saito, because I'm sure that has got to be pretty disgusting. Any other art supporter will also be helpful if you don't have those characters, ranging from your Tamamo no Mai's all the way down to your Wolfgang Amadeus Mozarts. Any art support will be helpful. There are also, of course, some other characters you can pair Saito with beyond that. Lanling Wang, of course, is going to be an excellent pick considering they both occupy the same class. Odds are the enemy you're sending Saito off to fight might deal less damage to the prince, so you might want to consider taking him along. Jinako, of course, can be an excellent option if you need some sort of tank. Saito only has one turn to be able to evade an enemy attack, so being able to have Jinako there to be able to take neutral damage from most sources and give herself some invincibility can be very, very helpful. Plus, she can supply Saito with some critical stars. And finally, like I mentioned when talking about his Noble Phantasm, you can also consider pairing Saito with Summer BB. BB being able to lock Saito's cards, just pop in with that combat suit, lock those cards, you can see Saito's damage continue to climb as he stacks arts resist debuffs on his opponents. When it comes to craft essences for Saito, arts card effectiveness is our absolute priority. We want to be able to watch his arts cards climb and climb and climb when it comes to damage. You can pretty much give him any sort of art CE and see him perform well. I personally like Mark on a Smiling Face for a specific NA option. This grants arts card effectiveness, NP gain, and NP strength can be very, very effective for Saito. Unfortunately, when it comes to this Guda Guda, Saito doesn't really have a big option that works well for him coming out either in the gacha or as a freebie CE with the event. However, in a future Guda Guda, there is a CE coming out called Burning Disappointment, which can actually be very great for Saito. It grants arts card effectiveness, critical strength, and Noble Phantasm gain. I also want to give a special recommendation to a CE called The Lone Bearer is Here. This grants Saito arts card effectiveness, but also increases his NP overcharge level by 2 levels one time. NP overcharge can be a great tool for Saito, this CE in particular granting that arts effectiveness. You're going to see Saito on a regular charge hitting an enemy for a 30% arts resistance reduction. That's definitely going to increase some damage. Despite what many might think, I actually don't really like Noble Phantasm damage command codes on Saito, mainly because we want to go ahead and capitalize on that arts resistance from our arts cards following up with that Noble Phantasm. So those I would actually recommend you avoid based on that. When it comes to Saito's arts cards, go ahead and give them something that draws critical stars to those arts cards. That is what we want to crit with more than anything else to increase our chances of being able to use that Noble Phantasm repeatedly. Immature Illusionary Command Seal is of course an excellent 3-star option, and Armament of Triumph is a premier 4-star if you happen to have that. But if you lack both of those, a simple code focus from the Friend Point Gacha will do. I honestly could not recommend really anything else other than Star Absorption on Saito's arts cards. Also keep an eye out for Colonel Automaton. This only specifically works on arts cards, but it increases that Star Absorption by a 50%, but also grants 10% critical damage. If you're looking for something for Saito's Buster cards, really, you can go in a couple of directions. Either go ahead and give him some way to remove debuffs because he doesn't really have a way to deal with that. Something like Code Cure can be a nice, excellent addition. You can, of course, also opt to give him some sort of critical damage bonus, since there's a lot of those for Buster cards, and he is actually able to increase his Buster card effectiveness. Something like Command Seal of a Cardinal-Minded Retainer could definitely work here as well. For Saito's quick card, just give him some sort of star gen. Really, anything will do. It's as simple as that. Overall, gang, Saito is a rare instance of a servant arriving with a kit that does absolutely everything that they want to do. Saito is a truly incredible servant, and he honestly ends up dethroning both Lancelot and Yagyu Munenori as the best single target art saber in the game. Saito's kit is massive. It is so good. He's got some sort of way to avoid things, and his buffs last longer than Munenori's, granting him a little bit of extra damage and a little less of a bursty window. He's able to deal a lot more sustained damage. Also, with the advent of Castoria, Saito is going to be able to reliably loop his Noble Phantasm, and with that stacking arts resist debuff, he is just going to see his damage continue to climb the longer the fight goes on. I believe you are actually doing yourself a disservice if you do not roll for Hajime Saito, and if I'm being honest, Saito is a far greater prize than Queen Himiko on this banner. That's just the way I see it. The man is incredibly impressive, and you should roll for him and be lucky if you get him. But of course, I want to know what you all think, so let me know your thoughts about Saito down in the comments section below. Let me know if there are any allies, craft essences, or command codes you think I might have missed. Let me know if you are going to join the people on JP in grailing Saito to 120, because, fun fact, he was the most grailed 4-star to 120. The man is just absolutely that good. If you want to talk more FGO, of course my Discord server is always open. I want to give a big thanks to patrons on Patreon, subscribers and followers on Twitch, and of course all of you here on YouTube for giving me the motivation to continue making these videos. I really do appreciate all of your support, in whatever form it comes in. Anyways gang, that's it for me, Kawaii50. I hope you all have a phenomenal day, and I will see you all in the next video.